Hi, this is John Sullivan with AdvisorOne, live from the trade show floor at Schwab Impact 2011, and I'm joined by Tony Davidow. I want to make sure I got that right. With Managing Director with Guggenheim Investments. And Tony, you were talking a little bit before we started here about some of the opportunities in China that you're seeing. Can you just expand a little bit more on that?
Absolutely. I mean, clearly China is a very big and vibrant economy. 9.1% GDP growth the last quarter, 1.3 billion people. It's been very difficult for the average investor to tap into the opportunities in China. We're actually very excited to talk about. We have a currency ETF that just was launched recently, the renminbi, giving individual investors direct exposure to what's happening in the Chinese economy. We have a fixed income strategy, a ginseng bond strategy, and we have 3 equity ETFs, so we think we're giving exposure kind of across the spectrum. If you believe in that China growth story, we're giving you different ways of gaining that exposure.
Fantastic. Now, there has been some rumblings that China might be headed for somewhat of a slowdown. Is there any kind of exposure that you have that might be able to hedge against some of that?
I think it's more than likely there will be a slowdown. I mean, clearly they have been very robust and growing at a much more rapid rate than the rest of the world. But if they slow down from 9.1% to 7 or 8%, they're still growing much faster than most regions around the world, and certainly a lot more than what we're seeing here. The other dynamic that I think about is with 1.3 billion people, and all the growth to date has really been in the eastern region of the country. It's still primarily an agrarian culture. As those people move to the cities and they have the need to build roads and high-speed rails and wind turbines, that growth, in our view, will continue over time. So even at a slower rate, it's still pretty substantial.
Still pretty substantial, yeah, wonderful. Now, you are known for some of your white papers and some of the educational pieces that you put out. You have one on China, is that correct?
I do. It's actually a pretty exciting piece because it does, again, talk about the broad opportunities in China and then some specific areas that investors might want to think about. One of the areas certainly we highlight in there is currency. It's actually a recent launch of ours. We're very excited to give direct exposure to the renminbi, the Chinese currency, in an ETF format. And what we think is unique there is a direct play on the economy. If you believe in that growth story, and we do, we think it's pretty exciting. One of the things I often hear from people is, does the Chinese government artificially control or maintain a lower currency? And in fact, we understand that to be true, but we do believe there's pressures internally to allow the currency to float, as well as pressures from the US and European leaders who are really encouraging them to play more fairly on the world stage. So I think as that comes, we think there's incredible opportunities there.
Fantastic. And for the viewers that want to get their hands on possibly the white paper, is there someplace that they can go?
We'd encourage everyone to go to our website, and we have written a Chinese strategy piece as well as several other white papers and strategy pieces. But we're excited about it, and I think China is something to be reckoned with in the years and the decades ahead.
Sure. Fantastic. Tony Davidow, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thanks, John.
This has been John Sullivan with AdvisorOne.